Kevin Gordon here for Auto Savant, coming to you from the 2014 Audi R8 V10 Plus. It's a little gratuitous set of video here, to be honest with you. Updated for 2014 Audi R8. Of course, its biggest new change is the fact that it's available with a double clutch gearbox. That's what this one is outfitted with. Let me tell you, of the cars that I've experienced, it's the best performance dual clutch box that I think you can find out there. I mean, it is as good as anything. It's smart. You put it in auto mode, it does what it's supposed to. Really, no complaints there, and you can see why. I know this is sacrilege, but you can see why the manual shift transmission is dying. With that being said, the gated manual unit that you can get on the R8s is just magic. There's something so wonderful about the mechanical clank of getting that thing through gears. But if you need a simple daily driver that's also basically a supercar, I don't know how you can go wrong with this engine and transmission setup. Talking a little bit more about what makes the R8 V10 Plus. So of course it's the 5.2 liter V10 motor that goes into this car. The Plus version gets you a few extra horsepower though. It makes 550 horsepower and 398 foot-pounds of torque. And that torque number is telling. There's something sort of wonderful about this car in the fact that it doesn't just pull from any RPM. I'm not saying it doesn't accelerate with clear force from any RPM, but there's something magical about letting this thing, you know, I'm rolling along now at 4,000 RPM, and as you get into it, you can hear the pitch change. It goes 6, 7, 8,500 RPM. I mean, it is a beautiful mechanical thing, and you can understand why cars like this have not gone to forced induction. It is just pleasurable to drive, and it is actually rewarding to rev out to the top of its rev range. Other things that make up the V10 Plus are standard carbon ceramic brakes, reduced sound deadening in here, a smaller fuel tank, and real carbon fiber bits all over the place. And Audi likes to point out, as they should, that where you see carbon fiber on their cars, it's real carbon fiber. It's not a carbon fiber cover on something else. That side view mirror is a piece of carbon fiber. All of that, I think, saves you 100 or so pounds. The other big weight savings potential is getting the fixed manual, more rigid back shell seats that this one doesn't have. The other option that this car has is the full upgraded diamond stitched interior, which is gorgeous. So the base price of the 2014 Audi R8 V10 Plus is $170,000 with the manual transmission, $179,000 with the dual clutch gearbox, and this one with the upgraded leather and a few other pieces, I think stickers right at $186,000. So $186,000 is quite a bit of money, but for that you're getting real exotic experience in this car. I mean, there's something magical about an R8. There's nobody that sees them in traffic that doesn't still look. Like in this one, we had the chance to pull up next to a Gallardo, and they were as excited to see this as they were to be seen in their own car. And on top of that, you get something that's really livable on a daily basis. I mean, the R8, if there's ever been a knock against it, it's that it's almost too composed to be considered a supercar. But you'll notice I'm above 6 foot tall, and I mean, I've got like real headroom in here. The seating position's good. Getting into and out of it is easy. It is as pleasant of a place to spend time as almost anything else you're going to find. It is worth noting that in the V10 Plus version, you don't get magnetic ride control. It's got fixed spring rates, so it is a bit stiffer than normal, but tell you, it is nowhere near jarring or tiring on long drives. You could really take a road trip in this car and not feel punished at the end of it. The seats are super comfortable. Like I said, the driving position's excellent. I find myself getting instantly comfortable from a seating and steering wheel, ratio instead of locations. All the rest of the stuff in here, because it is a lot of it Audi sourced, is pretty standard from a controls and layout perspective. The big difference is that in this, you get some of the most sonorous experience happening about 12 inches from your kidneys. The other big thing that, of course, a dual clutch gearbox gets you for 2014 is launch control. So we will take a second here and find some clear open road out in the Red Rock Canyons of Nevada to demonstrate what launch control does in a 550 horsepower mid-engined V10 supercar. So given that this is one of our short takes, first drives, really just getting to borrow the car for a reasonably minimal amount of time, at least compared to what would be desired, the thing that you start to learn about the R8 is it is every bit an exotic car, but it is completely docile and can be stretched sort of to its limits by the common person. Because of the way the R8's all-wheel drive system sets up power, even on sort of normal conditions, you can start to play with the back end of this car, especially if you just put it in its ESP sports setting, and have very little fear that you're going to wind up killing yourself or winding up backwards in some hedges somewhere. Even with everything off, the all-wheel drive system makes you feel like a genius, because if you think about it, it's going to dump most of its power to the rear wheels, start to get the back end out, but then as you continue and reapply throttle and counter-steer into it, the front wheels are just going to drag you back and sort of act as a real safety net. It isn't to say that they've removed any of the fun from it, it's just they've made it so that there's a chance you can utilize the entire sort of performance envelope of this car on a more frequent basis. I'm not saying it's going to do any favors for the point status of your license, but it's always there as an option. So the final thing I did want to talk through and show was the fact that with the new dual clutch gearbox, you of course get launch control. And it's pretty simple to operate. We'll walk through it. We're just getting to a clear and straight section of road here. We're out in the Red Rock Canyons of Nevada, and they make for some absolutely gorgeous scenery and actually some semi-decent driving roads. You wouldn't think of Nevada for having good driving roads, but these are about, I think, all you could ask for given the sort of desert circumstances that are around here. I'm actually going to throw it in neutral first, put it back in, drive, select manual 1, foot on the brake. Oh my gosh. The dual clutch can be so extraordinarily violent when it wants to be. You really are getting kicked like a mule in the back every time you drive the next gear. The one thing that Audi hasn't done with this car on upshifts is really put that big amount of throttle retard timing in it to get you the sort of burps and burbles that you might get in other cars. Now on downshifts, on the other hand, I mean, could you ask for much of a better sound? But on full throttle upshifts, it just goes and grabs the next gear. So with that, Kevin Gordon for us Avant, trying to lose our license in Nevada. Look forward to talking to you guys soon.